Welcome to Mueller time. What's going on, man?
How are you doing?
Well, I thought, yeah, right. How am I doing?
Oh, it was a week.
I'd like to first talk about the incident that happened to me, which if you guys are on Facebook, Twitter, or whatever, you know I posted the video.
Yeah,
So,
Eric posted this video of an incident that happened in our neighborhood.
I'd like to talk about that before we get into everything else that happened, because that is kind of a microcosm of what's going on.
Oh, no, that incident just set the tone for the whole week. And on one of the Facebook discussions, I even said something, and I'm really glad I said it, and we'll get to that in a moment.
Right. So I was the day, ironically, my only day off, the day after Politicon. I was chilling. I'm walking down the street.
This is this past Monday, October 22nd.
Correct. Was that the date? I don't even remember.
Right, because I typed it on my post on Facebook.
Oh, nice. So, yeah, I'm just walking down the street, just, by myself.
In our neighborhood, by the way, and it's on a busy major thoroughfare.
Right. So I'm just walking down the street. I have my March for Our Lives t-shirt, the gun march, which we attended, which we were very proud to attend.
The anti-gun march, the anti-school shooting march, just to be clear. Yeah.
It's a gun control march.
Yes.
So when this guy saw the shirt and from the comfort of his own home screamed a homophobic slur.
Okay, yeah, he was behind an iron fence on the stairway in front of his apartment building. Yeah.
So I
to a stranger on the sidewalk,
right.
Eric.
So I proceeded to turn on the camera, and he and I had a little discussion, which is up on that video, which again is on my personal Facebook page or the Mueller Time YouTube page. You can check it out. Mm-hmm. Long story short, it had what most people, I think, agree to be a positive outcome. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people commented were like, because the guy ended up apologizing. He shook my hand.
Now, this, if you see the video, this person, though, it comes across as just kind of a little crazy right-wing nut job. And he felt emboldened to yell a homophobic slur to a stranger on the street. And to Eric's credit here, I mean, all you did was said, hey, why?
Right.
In a nutshell.
I did explain to my friends, and I again want to be clear, the reason I engaged him that way was only for one reason. It was for my own personal safety. Yeah. That was it. A lot of people were like, wow, you really handled that great. I appreciate that. But I approached it that way, again, for my own safety. If that guy had even made a motion of any kind of involving a physical confrontation, as my friend Jack said, I could tell you were ready to tune that guy up. And he's right. The point I'm trying to make is I'm very glad I believe in nonviolence. Mm-hmm. But I also believe that if someone brings the fight to you, you do what you have to do.
Well, again, this person had the bravery to hurl the homophobic slur from behind an iron fence.
But the big picture being, to lead into the other things that happened, was that how people who are already crazy can be influenced by what they see, what we saw this week with, I guess we could start first with the Mad Bomber guy.
The MAGA bomber.
The MAGA bomber, thank you.
MAGA bomber, yeah. No, okay, I was already worked up as it was after Politicon. We had a great time there, but it's heavy stuff being just surrounded by politics for 48 straight hours. And then the first thing that happens on Monday, the day after Politicon's done, is Eric's incident. And that just set off a week for me that my head has just not been in the right space for over 7 days now.
Yeah, we thought about taking 2 weeks off. We almost did it, but...
It's election season. We can't. We have to be here. It's important.
So the MAGA bomber, which is, I don't know who came up with that, but that's genius.
Well, you saw his van.
But just
he was being called the MAGA bomber before we saw the van, though, because he was specifically targeting all of Adolf Hitler's favorite people to hate on.
All right, so the MAGA bomber is this guy. He's basically like Travis Bickle. I mean, basically, if you read about him, he's this guy. He's this dude who's just, things don't go right. He's had a lot of trouble with the law, but apparently he was fairly apolitical, they said, or so supposedly, until
we saw his van.
2015.
Oh yeah,
when literally,
that's the story. He was a Democrat until he wasn't a Democrat. He was a sexist that hated Hillary Clinton. Apparently,
the van literally was a white van until you know that, right?
Yes.
Until 2015, and that's symbolic of what happened.
Oh,
so this is exactly what happens. This guy's a nut. He latches on to a cult, which is what this whole thing is.
Cult 45.
Right, exactly. And then proceeds to build a series of bombs, none of which worked because I don't want to jinx this or anything, but he is a Trump supporter. So you got to admit.
Laughing at his bombs that didn't work. That's not good.
Yeah, and let's just we dodged a real, it was lucky. That was lucky.
Yeah, so that it just made me extra upset having seen your video, and I don't see how our neighbor just down the block from us is really that much different from the guy that sent the bombs around the country.
Right.
I saw people of political stripes that I cannot stand all weekend long last weekend. I didn't hurl any hate at them. I've been, for the last, 6-7 months, I've been talking big game about how much I don't like a particular website editor and the people surrounding him. I had opportunities to actually discuss with them, and out of civility, I really didn't.
I mean, look.
Okay, or maybe I was a little chicken, one or the other.
Well, look, the point is that, and again, back to the thing that happened to me or what you just said, if you feel like you have to say something or stand up for yourself, then just do it. Yeah. That's what it's all about.
Well, that's exactly what you had to do because you were challenged for no reason whatsoever.
That whole thing, it wasn't about, like I told people, it wasn't about Trump. It wasn't about even what he said. It was about him and me. It was about that moment.
Yeah.
That's what that was about. So if something like that happens to you with one of these people, you do what you got to do and don't second guess yourself.
Yeah.
I really mean that, especially with what happened after the MAGA bomber. Just you do what you got to do. Yeah, we'll get there. But anyway, the MAGA bomber's been caught, thank God, and that guy's never getting out of jail.
Did you see Michael Moore's video today? Michael Moore has outtakes from his recent movie Fahrenheit 11/9, and he filmed the MAGA bomber at a Trump rally in early 2017. Really? Yeah, Michael Moore just posted it today. It is a video. It's just raw video that wasn't used in the film. The Trump rally, it was one not long after Inauguration Day. And Michael Moore explains on the Facebook post how he instructed his camera crew to only film the people hanging around the media pen. Mm-hmm. So Trump's long gone, and all these Trump fanboys, all older white men, probably past their mid-50s, holding signs and everything, just yelling stuff at the journalists in the media pen. And right there is MAGA bomber. He's got a T-shirt with cut-off sleeves, and he's got roided up muscles. And Michael Moore points that out. He points out his challenge with masculinity. You saw his booking picture where he's just got those horrible hair plugs.
Nice.
And he's just all roided up, which
I didn't even notice. I mean, I don't know anything about like men's hair, so like I know like literally, I just found out what those were because a friend of mine was talking about another one of our friends who's a Hollywood actor, and he was like, "Yeah, did you see those hair plugs?" And I was like, "What are hair plugs?" Like I don't. And then he told me, I was like, "Oh, it's like fake hair."
Yeah. And I mean it's obvious. You can tell just when you see the booking photo of the MAGA bomber. Yeah, it just looks like a weird line of ash and coal on his head.
Meanwhile, I know you saw that Michael Moore was on his van.
Oh yeah, Michael Moore. Yeah, well Michael Moore discusses that in his Facebook post.
I'd like to say one of my I'm not really joking here, but I think definitely a career highlight someday will be when I'm on the side of a crazy guy's van.
Yeah, you know what? You could say that now, but you read Michael Moore's post, you don't want to be on the side of a crazy person's van.
Well, I mean,
that means you made it and you were heard, but
well, I think I'm doing well. I mean, I'm just mid-level career, and I'm already getting attacked on the streets. So I must be doing pretty well. And he didn't even, by the way, he didn't even know who I am. He didn't know I'm the host of the Mueller Time podcast or
no.
So
yeah, you know what? Can we pat ourselves on the back here? We did not out this person. I mean, look, maybe someone would have recognized him and typed his name in there, but we could have posted that video in our local Facebook neighborhood group, and someone probably would have known him, and then all hell would have broken loose in this guy's life. But we didn't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't care. Like, I mean, that could still happen, by the way, because but
that sounds like a threat.
No,
I'm kidding.
Not me. I mean, I'm saying someone else could post it. Like,
well, you know what?
I'm not in that group.
You're right. I scrolled past it again today, and I noticed the view count was a lot higher than it was on Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look, that's whatever. Mm-hmm. I mean, even he doesn't in the video doesn't come off looking as bad as he could have because he shook my hand.
Good thing. Maybe that's the wrong term. He acknowledges he is being filmed, so he gave you consent to be filmed.
Yeah.
He acknowledges that it could end up on YouTube, and he did not object to it.
Yeah.
So
well,
we're not invading anyone's privacy. He gave you explicit permission.
Yeah. It would have gone up anyway, though. Probably, to be honest with you,
But just connecting him. I mean, there's no connection between this person in our neighborhood and the MAGA bomber. The mindset is not unlike each other, though, and that has just weighed so heavily on me all week.
Yeah. So then of course, they just finally catch the bomber, and then, of course, unfortunately, the Pittsburgh synagogue shooting happened. I actually found out, I didn't realize this, but I have a bunch of relatives there.
Oh, no.
I didn't know that. None of them go to that synagogue, but I just found that out tonight. And I may talk to some of them, and if I do, I'll update this podcast. But I didn't realize that Pittsburgh has apparently a whole portion of my family, when we came to America, went to Pittsburgh.
Wow.
I didn't realize it has such a big Jewish population.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, this guy's another one. There's really no difference. I don't care what people said that he didn't vote for Trump. He's a Trump supporter. Like, he doesn't have to. He was so crazy that he actually got angry at Trump.
Mm-hmm.
He's a Trump guy. Like,
yeah, like he could say he doesn't vote for Trump, but I mean, what's the difference at this point?
It's the same guy.
Trump doesn't need a majority of votes to become president anyway, so it doesn't matter if he's not a Trump supporter. Unfortunately, though, the right is using that as a way to point the finger at the left. Well, he's not a Trump supporter, the synagogue bomber. That's
right. But on here on Mueller Time, we don't acknowledge the views of the radical right as valid.
Okay. Well, no, I'm not saying it's valid. I'm just saying this is what they're trying to push.
But anyway, this guy is a Trump supporter, and he's a real piece of work.
Can we point out again a white neo-Nazi with a gun went into a house of worship and killed people, shot police officers, yet the police officers didn't kill him.
Yeah.
No. But hey, try being a black man in New York selling loose cigarettes.
I'm sure they wanted to kill him. Yeah, I think. But
there's a famous line in the Rage Against the Machine song, "Killing in the Name of."
Yeah.
Some of those that run forces are the same that burn crosses.
Oh, I think when someone's shooting at you, no, they wanted to kill that guy. They were outgunned.
Okay.
I mean, that guy had. We don't even really know what he had yet. We know.
No, we knew he had an AR-15.
Yeah, probably a modified one and a bunch of other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if someone was shooting at me and I was a cop, I'm sure I'd be doing the job as best I could.
Yeah, well, the white shooters somehow never end up dead.
Yeah, well, no, I mean that's a valid point.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure those cops did the best they could. But that's a chaotic scene right there.
So in all the nonsense happening on our Facebook comments, at least on my personal page, before the MAGA bomber was caught, the morning where I woke up to find out that bombs were sent to the Clintons, to the Obamas, and to CNN, I immediately got on my Facebook page and just wrote something about, all right, who wants to try to both sides this? And I had some takers. And at one point I had to say to a taker, someone tried to bring up George Soros, but not about him being bombed, wanted to know my opinion on George Soros. And again, this was before the synagogue bombing. And I had to say on Facebook, I'm not about to let you use my Facebook page to spread anti-Semitic nonsense. And I'm very proud of myself. I'm going to pat myself on the back again for not taking the bait on that, considering then what happened just a couple days later in Pittsburgh. And then the both-siders on Facebook kind of seem to be quiet since that happened.
The Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh shooter, it was the same. Again, he made specific references to this quote-unquote caravan. So he is a Trump guy, and it was the same thing as this other guy. He's set off by shit he's seeing on TV. Mm-hmm. He made references to a Jewish organization that helps resettle refugees.
Yeah.
So whether he voted for Donald Trump or not, he absolutely is part of the wave of dangerous people that are because of Trump.
Yeah, they're emboldened, and they need to be stopped.
Right, exactly. So, again, this guy, I mean, he'll never see the light of day again.
He's scared of starving and frightened women and children that are thousands of miles away from the United States border that need our help.
Yeah, and just to these characters out there, not that they listen to this show, but you're not the only one who knows how to use a gun. So I'd be very careful, because I'm as you saw from that video, I'm a very patient person. I'm fast approaching the edge of my patience here in terms of exercising my own personal rights. Yeah. Should I be confronted? I'm really getting close, and the synagogue thing is pushing me a little too close. Mm-hmm. So these people need to back the fuck off.
Okay, something really bad has happened basically every day since we got back from Politicon.
Yeah.
And we have more than a week still until the election. Yeah, what's going to happen? It's Sunday night. What the hell's going to happen tomorrow morning?
So yeah, Politicon. Just for you guys who, if you didn't see all the coverage, it was pretty great. We got a lot of great interviews. We did, Richard Painter, Michael Steele, R.J. Cutler, who's
The Trump tapes.
The Oval Office tapes.
The Oval, excuse me, the Oval, the Trump tapes.
I knew what you meant.
Yes. Well, no, but our listeners might not, and we don't want to get his podcast wrong. Yes.
So all those things are up on the Mueller Time YouTube page and a few others. But Chris is right. It was a good time, but it is draining also being around. There were a fair amount of white nationalists who go to that thing.
I mean, I saw Proud Boys there. I took a picture of a guy wearing a MAGA hat and a T-shirt that says Muhammad is gay, and he was walking around proudly both days wearing the same outfit. Yeah, we were around lots of people like that all weekend.
I didn't see that guy, and I totally, if I knew that guy was there, I would have engaged him in a conversation. Mm-hmm. Nothing more, but just a talk. Mm-hmm. And
I didn't include that picture from the stuff I put on Facebook of my photos from Politicon.
Yeah, and like I told you on the other episode, I know we talked about this. I understand Politicon's point of view, but I think just like these Twitter and Facebook, as a private organization, I think they could exercise a little more restraint, even though I know they'll take some flack. But that shirt is really, I mean, that's almost a safety issue.
Yeah, well, you know what, though? If you look, it's Muhammad spelled not correct. He used the loophole. It's spelled like M-U-H and not Muhammad like the prophet.
But you knew what he meant.
Exactly. Yeah, that's that guy's actually not as ballsy as he wants you to think he is. But would he actually walk around wearing a T-shirt that said Muhammad is gay if it was spelled correctly? I don't think that guy would have. I'm scared just saying Muhammad is gay on our podcast, by the way.
You're just referencing a T-shirt worn by an asshole.
Yes.
But yeah, we had a great time. I'm looking forward to next year. I honestly thought this year was going to be the biggest ever, but I think last year actually might have been a little bit bigger.
Yeah. I wonder what happened there. I thought with the election coming up, it would be even bigger, but no. And then I saw this weekend at the same LA Convention Center was Comic-Con. I have a friend that's working a booth at Comic-Con, and she posted a picture of just the lobby area, the entrance area of the convention center, just jam-packed, without an inch to move. And it was not like that when we saw it, and I'm kind of glad.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a great time. I'm really glad we went. I have a bunch of footage. I've got footage from last year even that I'm going to start throwing up.
Yeah.
I mean, I have footage from March for Our Lives. I'm gonna get.
Yeah, let's get some of this stuff up. That.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Can we? I want to get back to one more thing about the asshole that confronted you from behind the gate. He made a crude sexual remark about a teenager to you, about David Hogg.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And he just off the cuff said David Hogg needs to perform this sexual act.
Well,
I'm like, what the hell is wrong with this guy?
Yeah. Actually, I'm glad you brought that up because that reminded me that in terms of these people like the MAGA bomber and the guy in Pittsburgh who parrot what they hear from the leadership, I didn't at the time really, I mean, I know who David Hogg is obviously, but I didn't realize that he specifically takes a lot of the brunt from these right-wing nuts.
Yeah, he sure does.
There's a bunch of Parkland kids who are famous now. There's probably like 10.
Yeah, and several of them were at Politicon. We saw Cameron Kasky. We saw Kyle Kashuv.
But David Hogg, from the beginning, has taken, and so this guy.
Well, there's fake news about David Hogg. They were trying to say he was a crisis actor and had some video of something he did in California, and so they try to say he's not even from Florida.
So the point being is that these guys are drawing it from the top, which is Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, might as well. Yeah, we can just go to that because Trump has been doing this for a long time.
Yeah. Well, how does Trump do this? I mean, basically, this is mind control. It sounds like sci-fi nonsense, but how is it not mind control? Trump can say whatever he wants, and these people believe him without any evidence of fact.
Yeah, well,
that's mind control.
But the point being, like, the point I'm trying to make, which I said in that other post that I did the other day, these guys are taking this to a new level.
Yeah.
So it's open season on a lot of people. So you need to really be careful out there.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to. We have a week until an election, and I hope the election actually happens, and I hope that we're still safe after the election happens, whatever the results are.
Trump and these guys he was leading they were laughing at George Soros in the White House.
Yeah.
So I interpret that as a direct threat. So I encourage people to just really, don't go crazy, but you should, if you're part of any marginalized group or really anybody, but someone who looks like you and me.
Yeah.
And even you saw what happened to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should take some extra precautions in your daily routine.
Now, one of I've made mention about how Politicon is not unlike a Comic-Con or the music business conventions such as South by Southwest. Well, one way it's like that is there's free stuff to be had. And my favorite free thing that I got was a Washington Post Democracy Dies in Darkness t-shirt. And I wore that on Tuesday in solidarity with what happened to you wearing your March for Our Lives t-shirt on Monday. So I proudly wore that shirt all day Tuesday. And I walk. I don't drive. I walk to work. So I walk a couple miles every day. I see plenty of people out on the streets all over Hollywood. And no one said anything. I got one thumbs up from a guy. Nobody said anything bad.
Oh, nice.
But maybe a newspaper's not quite as divisive as the March for Our Lives, even though Donald Trump has done his best to make sure the Amazon Washington Post is known as fake news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got like 4 of those shirts.
You grabbed
for family and friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a bunch of them.
Oh, I updated my Facebook profile picture yesterday wearing that t-shirt too.
I got a lot of free stuff.
Yeah.
It was like better than Sundance almost. It was, yeah. I can't wait till I get to the level where I can go to those rooms and just get all that stuff.
Like I won't put any sort of political bumper stickers on my car. I don't need people. I don't need to draw attention to myself unneededly. And then after what happened with you, because you wore your March for Our Lives t-shirt, I'm like, screw this. I'm not gonna go necessarily put a bumper sticker on my car. But yeah, I proudly wore that t-shirt.
Just one more time, I want to reiterate that Trump, and not just Trump, but the Republican Party are pumping poison, bigoted poison into the bloodstream. It's not just him. It's the stuff is coming from a lot of Republican congressmen.
Yeah.
The Soros thing has been repeated by Chuck Grassley.
Okay, let's talk about Soros for one moment. I saw it again on my Facebook page this week. I don't think people realize how anti-Semitic it is when you spread the right-wing talking points about George Soros.
Right.
Every piece of nonsense you hear about him is rooted in anti-Semitism.
This has gone way too far. If it was just Trump even, I wouldn't feel the same way. But then when I see it by other congressmen and being pushed relentlessly on Fox News, you people better fucking, I'm going to say this isn't the last time I say it, you better watch out and you better think about this.
Yeah.
To me, this is all on them. We didn't start this fight. They started it, but I'll gladly finish it, as you saw in that video.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay, hold on. I'm going to give you some points here. You didn't fight. You were civil. There's calls for civility, and you could not have been a better example of civility with your incident with our crazy MAGA neighbor.
I appreciate that, but I want to reiterate, it was not the Democratic version of civility, which is being, I'm sorry to use the word, but a pussy. My civility it was a strategy.
Yeah.
This was an unstable individual, and I didn't know what he was going to do. Mm-hmm. So I just want to make that clear. I don't think you should approach every situation like that. I think you should, approach it, use your judgment. So today is today's the Mueller anniversary. Today is the anniversary of the first indictment.
Who was the first indictment? Was that help me, remind me, who was the first person indicted?
Well, it was Paul Manafort and Rick Gates and George Papadopoulos.
Okay.
So this is 1 year since that incident.
Okay, can we talk about how Mueller has been very silent, as predicted, throughout this 2018 campaign season? James Comey wasn't. A week out from the election, he made some announcement about some it turned out to be very relevant, announcement of Hillary's irrelevant emails. Mm-hmm. And he didn't wait till after the election to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
but now Mueller is, he's doing what politically is supposed to be the right thing. I mean, I hope a week from Wednesday, everyone goes to jail.
It's been 1 year since Mueller's first strike, as they say, and he's done a hell of a job. Yeah. A lot of people have been indicted, and a few people are in jail, and a lot more are going to jail. So let's just take a second, because it's been rough, to, really just take stock of that. That's a great thing.
Okay, so let's say everything goes bad a week from Tuesday at the election, and the red wave hits. Can the next session of Congress, can they just flat out put a stop to the Mueller investigation?
I mean, I think they can do anything they want. I mean, if they can, or Trump can do anything he wants. Mm-hmm. I'm not worried about that. So,
Look, I'm hearing too many scary things coming out of Georgia and coming out of Texas about early votes being disappeared and voter rolls being purged.
Yeah.
We might get some seats turned. Stacey Abrams in Georgia and Beto O'Rourke in Texas.
Everyone has to vote. Stating the obvious.
Look, if you can go vote early, just do it. I mean, look, I love voting on election. I love going to the poll on election day and voting right then and there. And if you don't care one way or the other, go vote early. And
like we've often spoken about, everyone has to have their own, everyone has to be working together on this. So whatever you've chosen to do, whether it's register voters, do a podcast, convince one friend to register to vote, whatever. Just, we have 9 days.
Yeah.
8 or 9 days.
Yeah, so you're going to have less than that by the time you're listening to this podcast.
So yeah, get on it.
Yeah.
Because this is pretty important. Brazil had a pretty big election today. I don't know if you saw.
I saw a news story about something related to it, but I don't know what happened in the election.
Brazil has elected the wave of populism that is descending over.
Oh, that's right. They have their own Trump down there.
Except way worse. This guy is even if you can imagine that being possible, way worse.
Real briefly, the story I saw was from the LA Times, and Roger Waters is on tour. Roger Waters of Pink Floyd fame. He's down there touring, and apparently he was not supposed to speak about the election, and he got himself into some Brazilian hot water by coming out against this potential new dictator in Brazil.
Yeah, his name is Jair Bolsonaro. This guy's a complete lunatic. I saw it. It's so bad for those people. This is really bad because that country has a lot of problems, way more problems, which is part of how this guy got a shot at the the presidency. Mm-hmm. But what a horrible combination! A country that already has all these problems, and this guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
Brazil. There's no middle class in Brazil. There's extremely wealthy and extremely poor, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yes, which is ordinarily always the recipe for disaster. In any country.
And then, isn't it? How big is the Brazilian population? Is it more? Do they have more people than the United States?
The United States?
Yeah.
No. Oh no.
Because they have more land. I mean, they're like the biggest country on the planet.
No, they don't have more people, but they have the murder rate there is unbelievable. I think they said it was an insane amount of people who were just killed last month. I did a double take. So this guy is apparently they say he's the most extreme candidate ever elected in South America, ever, in the history of recorded elections. That's how crazy this guy is. And I mean, just whatever, you can read about him. Yeah. So that
do we get any listeners in Brazil?
There's a few.
Okay.
There's a few, yeah. So if anyone is listening and has any opinion on that, when you listen, you can hit us up on all the social media channels and be interested to know. I do have a friend who lives here now who's just moved here a little while ago with her husband from Brazil and their kids. I was like, that's some good timing.
Yeah, I know. I have a friend that has a Brazilian wife that I believe she's somewhat famous in Brazil too. But
Oh yeah, yeah. That they're in for a real rough ride. They have 4-year terms there, like here. So
what they used to have 4-year terms there, you mean?
I mean, with this guy, you really never know.
Yeah.
I mean, they got some crazy stuff going on there. Mm-hmm. So I wish them the best, but
hey, we got our own shit to worry about here at home.
Yeah.
Not to say that we shouldn't pay attention to what's happening in Brazil, but
yeah. No, it was a mirror of what's happened here. Mm-hmm. I mean, I watched a bunch of segments on it today.
Okay.
Same thing. People are saying the same things, just in Portuguese, but the exact same things. The crime rate, why they like them. It was like a mirror.
Okay. Are there immigrants that go to Brazil that the Brazil nationalists hate?
That I don't know about. I didn't see anything about that. Okay. The major thing seems to be their economy and the crime rate, which is absolutely out of control.
Yeah.
They had a thing, this woman who won, she later won a seat in their Congress. She was a police officer who killed a man who tried to rob her when she was just off duty. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't think anybody has a problem with that, but she used that in her campaign ad, this surveillance video.
Oh, wow. That's
I mean, that's just straight up crazy. I was watching, and of course it was perfect for a commercial. because she had her kid going to school, so it's like the mom thing.
Oh wow, yeah. Well, can you
So
imagine if
people love that stuff?
that's going to happen here? Everything happens on video now. Eventually, that is going to happen. There is going to be a political candidate in this country who was heroic in a crime against them, and they're going to exploit that, and that'll be that's kind of dirty.
So even though Mueller's been quiet, there's been a couple stories breaking, and it's like what do you call it? Like something's being. It's like slowly.
Well, stuff's being strategically leaked, not from Mueller though.
No, but things are being revealed, and you're starting to see connections. Like a light is being shown on it in a way that we didn't see. We're now seeing that everyone knows that Roger Stone is up next. Mm-hmm. That's the general consensus, and everyone knows that Julian Assange, as a front for Russia, ran WikiLeaks. But did you see how now they're connected?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, you go ahead.
Well, no, you'll know the details better than I will. So please.
No, just that. Now we're seeing, and it's not complicated stuff. This is what it looks like right now. Roger Stone wanted an edge to beat Hillary Clinton, and Julian Assange had a bunch of stolen emails, which, while irrelevant, could help them present an image. Julian Assange needed a pardon because he's in a lot of trouble for a bunch of rapes and other stuff that he's done. So there you go. And now apparently Mueller is investigating that connection.
Okay, Roger Stone seems like someone that would flee the country. Why hasn't he fled yet?
Because they got their eyes on him.
Yeah.
They don't have his. I mean, obviously he's technically a free man, but well, you never know with some of these characters though. A lot of them are delusional. They never think it can happen to them because they've gotten away with it.
Look, I'm going to be the keg half full kind of guy right now. I think Mueller is going to just arrest everybody the day after the election.
Yeah.
I want that to happen so bad.
Like I asked Richard Painter, will it be the 8th of November?
Oh, he seems to think it's coming quick.
He said a month afterwards, but
I'll take him. I said the day after. I will take a month.
But so there you go. You learn something each time. Yeah. So it makes more sense. They each needed something, and then they each promised each other something. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that's just the tip of the iceberg. Now, on top of that, one of the original conspiracy theorists is also now a part of this mess. And if we get this guy too, this is like the icing on the cake. Jerome Corsi.
Oh, yeah. No, he made news again this week.
Right.
Yeah.
This guy is one of the original. He started the birther thing.
Yeah, he's totally getting credit for that.
He started the John Kerry thing with the Swift boating and a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, he knows how to make up stuff about politicians and make it stick.
Right. So, long story short, Roger Stone has been saying that in the beginning that his connection to Julian Assange was this New York stand-up comic / activist named Randy Credico, who denies that. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't look like Randy Credico. It looks like he was telling the truth. Okay. Now it looks like Mueller's investigating, and now it makes sense. This Jerome Corsi guy might have been the real connection, because Mueller thinks apparently that this Corsi guy had advanced knowledge of WikiLeaks. Yeah. So that makes sense why he lied about it. He didn't want to put his buddy Corsi in there in the middle.
Yeah, NBC News broke that story this week. I believe we have it up on the Mueller Time Facebook page.
If Mueller takes down Corsi, oh my God. Yeah. I'm definitely buying drinks.
All right, so one person whose name we don't hear much of, which is one of the early indictments from Mueller, was Michael Flynn.
Mike Flynn?
Yes.
Yeah.
I wonder what Michael Flynn told Mueller about Jill Stein. You know, we haven't heard anything about her Russian connections.
No, I mean,
but we know they all sat at dinner in 2015 with Putin, and I would just love to see her get arrested for some nonsense too. Yeah, not nonsense, but you know what I mean.
There may be a lot of people are going to go down from this thing.
Yeah,
there's the manpower required Mueller can't handle all these cases. That's why he has to hand some of them off. Mm-hmm. So you may see something like that.
Yeah.
If Jill Stein took any money from them and didn't declare it or didn't anything like that, she could be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Not to mention, right. Well, it's hard because just, you know, if they used her as a useful idiot, there's technically no law against that. But if she took some money or something like that, absolutely.
Well, I have to assume she was paid to go to this RT dinner in Moscow.
Oh, for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't see her FEC filing, so I don't know what it says about it in there. But we got the pictures.
you can bet that a lot more people are going to be going down, people you've never heard of, like Papadopoulos. The first day, everyone was like, 1 year ago today, people were like, who?
Mm-hmm.
Who is that? Right?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, so meanwhile, Papadopoulos has been running his mouth nonstop. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you saw that since being convicted or pleading guilty. And now he's saying he might take back the plea.
Oh, did he say that? I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Is that a thing that you can do?
I don't know.
Yeah. How does that work in the legal world?
I don't get it because he's already signed the papers and everything. Well, I'll ask our friend that. By the way, I asked our friend who is the legal advisor, if he can even run his mouth like that. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, there's nothing, once you've signed off on it, there's nothing preventing you. Mm-hmm. But just the stupidity of it.
Yeah.
Of doing that.
His mouth is what got him in trouble in the first place.
So then also this is not a major part of the investigation, but Papadopoulos' wife, the quotation mark Italian woman.
No, I don't understand. What do you mean quotation mark Italian?
She has a very heavy Russian accent.
Oh, okay. I didn't know this.
You didn't know that?
No. Tell me more about her.
Oh, they always introduce her as this Italian woman. She's obviously Russian. So this journalist named Scott Stedman, who is a 22-year-old guy who does a lot of good work works on his own. Mm. He had a couple stories on her, just how, first of all, she's shady as hell.
Okay.
And Mueller and them they looked into her as being a spy. Mm. And I guess they didn't think she was because she's still a free woman. But her story doesn't make sense. A lot of her resume, when she said she worked at places, she didn't work there. Okay. And now apparently ICE is looking into her because she's here and she's worked and taken money when you're not supposed to.
Okay.
So
Papadopoulos married a Russian spy.
It's
That's
possible.
What it looks like. Yeah.
It's very possible.
Sidetrack, almost related. Did you see the story that broke earlier this week about Richard Spencer, big white nationalist asshole, deplorable, got famously punched in the face on the street? He is having marital strife. I don't know if it's a divorce or not, but a story came out about him beating his wife, and it turns out he has a Russian wife.
Oh, I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't remember the details necessarily about what's going on with him and his wife, but I'm like, wow, okay, there's another big prominent white nationalist racist. He's got a Russian wife.
Well, all I can say about that is that a lot of these white nationalists love Russia because it's one of the few it's a very white country, and it always has been.
There's only one race in Russia. Yeah.
Right, the acknowledged race. Everyone else there has real problems.
So is it just a coincidence that one of the leaders of the alt-right movement in America has a Russian wife?
I think it's very interesting.
Yeah. Okay. Let's leave it at that then.
I don't think she's as far as I know, not.
She's not Maria Butina.
No, but I think that it's interesting to note that given the connection between white nationalism and...
Exactly. I didn't know anything about him. I thought he was an incel.
Nice.
The story broke. It's like, wow. Okay, it wasn't even part of the story. It's just they name his wife there, and she's got a full-on Russian last name. Look, maybe she happens to be from an American family from generations that never changed their Russian last name. I don't know that for sure. I do know that he has a wife with a crazy long Russian last name.
Yeah. But yeah, this Papadopoulos story is sort of interesting with his wife. And again, you can look up Scott Stedman's reporting on that. I think something else is going to come out about that. I'm not sure what, but that some ain't right there.
Yeah, well, look, we got another week of a whole lot of not right.
There was one more thing about his wife that was something weird, but I've already forgotten.
Let's just find the story. We'll put it up on all of our social networks. Yeah.
Yeah, it was something really weird. I'm surprised she's in trouble with ICE because I figured he was kind of a Trump guy, so the government would lay off him. But I guess he wasn't high up enough. It sounds like they might deport her because she took money. She's here on a work visa, and you're not. I guess it depends on the type of work you do, and
yeah.
Yeah,
look, those things can be selectively enforced. I mean, Melania Trump came over on a tourist visa. She got to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. Mm-hmm. So then we got this this Saudi connection going on where basically, I'm sure so this George Nader character was, is apparently Trump and them were this thing that happened with Russia, Saudis wanted to do the same thing, help them win. Mm-hmm. And so this shadowy character, George Nader, was helping to broker this meeting. So the fascinating, so I'm sure you saw it because it was on your favorite show. It was on Rachel Maddow. It was also covered on some other places. Apparently, the guy that they're trying to pin this murder, this Khashoggi murder on, the Washington Post journalist who was killed in Turkey, the guy that the Saudis are trying to pin it on is this Saudi general who also was the Trump team's liaison during the campaign. So in other words, let's get rid of this guy who knows what was going on.
Yeah, that's how that works.
I know that's super complicated. I didn't do a great job of explaining it, but really check that out. This guy's name is, what the hell is his name? Ahmed al-Asiri.
He's not in the picture, the famous orb picture.
No.
Is he? No, it's just Melania and Trump. And,
his body will soon be turning up, however they do it over there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what bugged me out about those Saudis that was so crazy. Like those guys who went over there to do that mission in Turkey, yes, morally wrong, but they did, like they're doing what their country has asked them to do. And on top of that, this guy's going to apparently, like, it sounds like he's going to kill them or throw them, like, like you do that to your own people?
Yeah, it's, I don't understand that type of, how does a culture work? Well, look, America has some bullshit like that in our culture anyway, so.
No, any government, if you work in intelligence or whatever, there's many people who have been thrown under the bus by their own country.
Yeah.
If you look at that, I mean, I'm sad to say this, but if you look at that wall at the CIA with the stars, many of those people heroically fought for their country in that way. And we don't know the stories, and I'm sure a fair amount of them got sold out or screwed over. And that's why they're a star on that wall. Yeah. And those stories are all secret. We'll never know. Nope. Meanwhile, President Bumblefuck gave that speech there. Remember that? In the beginning?
That was right at the campaign. That was like first weekend.
Apparently, that was one of the big turning points where the intelligence community just lost it.
Yeah. That was before he fired James Comey, right? That was like the first week.
That was actually, believe it or not, I think that was his first day of his presidency.
Yeah.
First day.
Yeah. The law and order president.
Right. Yeah. Pretty crazy. Oh. Any commentary you'd like to add?
No, I you know what? I'm just scared for the next 9 days. I've had a difficult week. My head's been in the wrong space. Bad stuff happens every day. I'm just happy I have a good record collection to mellow my mind.
Election day is coming Tuesday, November 6th. Just want to make sure I got that right.
Well, yeah, because Rachel Maddow every day has a different story about misinformation about voting day in various regions of the country.
Right. So we already know you guys are going to be voting. We'll be voting. And we'll be doing a show that day. Yes, and I'll put it up as fast as possible.
Do we want to do? Let's go vote early in the morning and then record like Tuesday morning.
Let's
talk. We'll figure it out. We won't negotiate it on the podcast.
Let's vote and then record at some reasonable time.
Okay.
What I'd like to record is actually ideally I'd like to record after, like when we know what's up.
Yeah. Well, when the election results are coming in. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought about doing a live thing too, but I'm not there yet.
I think our friends Mueller She Wrote are doing a live election night podcast.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought about that. Yeah. I think they're doing a really long one. Mm. But it's hard enough to do 1 hour.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you want to follow us, it's Mueller Time Pod on Twitter. If you could write us a review on wherever you listen to the show, that would be great because more people in the robot world we live in now, more people will hear the show.
Yeah.
Remember, it's an automated world now. In fact, and a year from now, we'll be replaced by robots.
Oh, yeah, robots are going to do our job.
And
they're going to have all of our voices on in their database, and they can just create Mueller Time podcast without us.
And I look forward to actually watching myself and listening to my own show at that point.
Yeah, but are you still going to get the paycheck for it? Or is the robot going to get the paycheck?
Do I get a paycheck now?
There you go.
So yeah, it's a Mueller Time Pod, the Mueller Time Facebook page. What else?
Yeah, just go vote. Let's not plug anything. Just vote. Just go do all your research. Fill out your ballot. If you want to go vote early, go vote early. Just go vote.
There's also a new Mueller Time Instagram now, Mueller Time Podcast. Wow, okay. I set that up.
Instagram's the one social network you're not going to find me.
It's I have a lot of the Politicon photos up there.
Okay.
And then my personal account is Eric Levay, which is EricLevai.
And I'm @LowProgressive on Twitter.
anything else that you need to add?
Done. I am so done.
All right, y'all. Then we're going to see you guys on election night.
Thanks for tuning in.